Hola Seekers, this is Kim and bienvenidos to another pick a card. So the topic of this reading is on how to connect to and develop your psychic abilities. And this pick a card is a collaboration with Kino Tarot, who is another amazing tarot reader here on YouTube. She does pick a cards on all types of topics. So if you haven't stumbled upon her channel yet, I do recommend to check it out. You will fall in love with her voice immediately, and I assure you that you are going to cry at least once in one of her readings because it will resonate with your heart and soul, I assure you. She also happens to be a very talented singer, songwriter, and music producer. Yep, that's right, Kino, I called it. You are going to be known by millions and millions of people as a talented singer, musician, songwriter, and music producer. Yep, you just wait. But as I was saying, this is a collaboration, so this is sort of like a two-parts reading where I will be assisting you with figuring out how to connect to and develop your psychic abilities, and Kino will help you with finding out what your psychic abilities and spiritual gifts are. So I will be linking her video in the description box down below. If you are interested in watching that first, then please do go right ahead, and then if you are called to it, you can come back to this pick a card to get some advice and guidance on how to hone those abilities and gifts. It's all up to you, you guys. But yeah, now let's get into picking your group. So we have 3 groups to choose from. Each group holds a different message. So representing group 1, we have the otter along with the fairy stone. For group 2, we have the raw amethyst along with the koala. And for group 3, we have the selenite with the hummingbird. Can you guys hear my neighbor's birds? I'm so sorry. Apparently it's their singing hours. But yeah, you can take a moment to choose your group, pause the video if you need to meditate on it, and whatever group here calls out to you, then that will be your group. And the timestamp for each group is provided in the comment section down below. Okay, so now that you've chosen, let's skip on over to your reading. Let's go. Bienvenidos Seekers who chose the fairy stone. So just in case you happen to skip the introduction, this pick a card is a collaboration with Kino Tarot, who is an amazing tarot reader, by the way. So this is sort of like a 2-parts reading where I will be assisting you with figuring out how to connect to and develop your psychic abilities, and Kino will help you out with finding out what your psychic abilities and spiritual gifts are. So if you happen to stumble upon this video first and you're antsy to know what your spiritual gifts and psychic abilities are, then you can definitely check out Kino's video, which I will be linking in the description box down below. And then if you're called to it, you can come back to this pick a card to receive some advice and guidance on how to hone those gifts and abilities. Okay? So if you're still here and you have decided to stick around for this pick a card, then let's get started with your reading. So as I connected with the energy of this group, I felt quite light in energy and extremely peaceful. And all I could see in my mind's eye were bubbles, sort of like if I were underwater, and it felt so, but it wasn't scary. Like I said, it felt extremely peaceful, as if I belonged there in a sense. I know that sounds weird, but maybe some of you have a deep connection with the sea or the ocean or the seashore. Seaside is sort of like your haven or your safe space. Maybe that is what you guys visualize when you meditate. Some of you might even visualize yourself being underwater. There just seems to be some connection with the sea or with the ocean. Yet overall, where all these visuals and energy was leading me to was this essence of innocence and play and joy. It was, like I said, very lighthearted. And it might sound a little bizarre for some of you, but I do feel like one of your gifts is knowing how to connect the dots, seeing how everything is connected and how one thing can affect another and so on. And it is also in finding and seeing the beauty in the little things. Perspective is extremely important for you guys, and it is sort of like your magic. And if you feel like this is not you now, I would like for you to take a moment to think back and remember yourself as a child. and recall how you viewed the world. When no one was bothering you, when you weren't bothered by appeasing or appealing to others, recall how you viewed the world and what made you happy. And I feel like for the majority of you, you will recall that it was actually the little things that brought you so much joy and made you believe that, however cheesy this may sound, magic does exist. Okay, but now I am going to move into your cards. The messages I received before looking at the cards are always a bit unique and peculiar, and I know they might not resonate with everybody, but I try my best to deliver the messages that are being sent to me through visuals or through feeling or through energy. But yeah, so we will start off with these cards over here, and my intention for this oracle card was to be let known what is the energy or the archetype you guys embody when you are connected with your psychic abilities. So pretty much this card is here to let us know what is needed to connect with your psychic abilities, and these cards over here are to let us know what is currently blocking you from connecting with your psychic abilities, okay? So before I get started with these cards, full transparency, I myself am not very knowledgeable or acquainted with actual tools or methods on how to develop psychic abilities, so I will not be using any fancy terminology, if there is any, or recommending any resources such as podcasts, books, or videos. I will simply be going by intuition, what the cards are telling me, as well as spirit, and do my very best at delivering the guidance and advice that is needed to help you guys along in your spiritual journey. Starting off, we do have the Otter over here. And then actually my intention was to pull out one card, but 3 cards kept falling out. So I took the hint from Spirit and decided to keep them. So the first card is 3 of Swords, number 10, the Pig. And then we have 3 of Pentacles, number 48, the Money Safe. And lastly, we have the Joker, which is the Fool card. So first of all, looking at this Otter card, I feel this energy goes very hand in hand with the intuitive message at the beginning, because whenever you guys are connected with your intuition, with your psychic abilities, it's when you guys are feeling playful and lighthearted. It is when you are the most connected with your inner child per se, and you're curious about the world. You feel excited about life and the unknown, especially the unknown. Life is an adventure for you guys, and you're not necessarily seeking to be somewhere or get somewhere or reach a goal or accomplish something. You are simply enjoying the view. You're enjoying the journey. Life to you is about the journey and not so much the destination. So whenever you feel the most relaxed, the most at peace, sort of like going with the flow type of vibe, that is when you guys are the most in sync with your highest self, thus your intuition, and your psychic abilities are the most active when you are in this state. And I feel like it is actually a challenge for you guys to be in this energy, to be in this state. Some of you might actually be overthinkers, or you deal with some form of anxiety. It seems like it just feels difficult at times to be relaxed, to not be worrying. And I feel that is one of the reasons why you oftentimes do not feel like you're connected with your psychic abilities. And I'm noticing this shell here, this clam or oyster shell, how it's opened. And how can I say this? Your psychic abilities have been active since you were little. They've always been there, and I feel you guys have been connected to them and have used them in your life to lead you several times and to get you out of certain situations, possibly even tricky ones or dangerous ones. And it was without you guys being fully aware of it or even knowing that you were using your abilities in any way. because this is like second nature to you guys. Like for some of you, I feel you have been communicating and connecting with spirit and talking with them since you were very little. And for you, it might have just been an experience of simply talking with yourself, or maybe talking with an imaginary friend, or talking in your head, but it was actually you communicating with your guides, communicating with spirit. And I do feel like for the majority of you guys have never truly felt alone. Like you've always felt a presence near you. But as you grew older and as you started to experience more of life, and you felt that life required more of this mature side from you, that is when you began to slowly start disconnecting from this playful energy. And thus you began to feel less and less connected with something more. And possibly some of you began to feel like you were actually alone, when before you never really worried about being alone or being lonely. So actually looking at the Three of Swords here, the Three of Swords speaks about heartache and pain, sometimes even and emotional trauma. So it might even be the case where you guys experience something traumatic, especially during your early life, during your childhood, and this caused you to kind of shut down in a way, or put walls around you and disconnect from your inner child. This might even be the case where you were shamed, or there was some fear in regards to your psychic abilities. And because of this shame, guilt, or fear, you unconsciously or even actively decided to shut down your abilities. Because I do feel like some of you might have even been able to see auras or energy, because I'm noticing all these colors here. And for very few of you, you might have been able to see spirit, maybe in your mind's eye or with your physical eyes. And for you as a child, this was normal. You possibly thought that everybody had this ability, that it was common. But when you tried to share it with others, you found out that it was not as common. And there might have been some people who might have instilled some fear in you in regards to this, or like I said, shamed you in some way. And that caused you sort of to retract, to kind of pull in your gifts and your abilities and not use them anymore. And now that you are embarking on this spiritual journey, you're trying to pull back out all of these abilities that you have suppressed for so long. That is what it was. You guys suppressed them. And I feel like the way that you guys are trying to reconnect with your abilities is by trying to force it in some way. And spirit is letting you know you don't have to force this, because it's innate. It's already there. You are already connected to it. All you need to do is kind of work on removing these blockages, which I feel might be shame, guilt, or fear. Or if you can look back and see if there was any, experience, anything you can pinpoint where you felt like something shifted, where you felt like after this moment, the world seemed a little bit duller. After this moment, I began worrying more about the future. After this moment, I began dealing with anxiety. After this moment, my perspective on the world shifted dramatically, or began to shift. If you can think back and pinpoint it, then we can start working from there. Because I do feel like one of the blockages here actually has to do with your self-confidence. Because I do notice we have this yellow color over here, which connects with the solar plexus. And the solar plexus is where we channel our confidence. Our solar plexus deals with how we view ourselves, deals with our self-identity. And now I'm noticing the number 3 being repeated here. The number 3 talks about creativity and creation. It is about expansion. I also see it as a representation of the connection between the mind, the body, and the spirit. So it does feel like at this moment you guys are a little disaligned with how you are presenting yourself to the world versus who you truly are at the core. Some of you might even have like difficulties in knowing who it is that you are, where it is that you stand, what are your beliefs, what are your true desires, and what are your true wants. Because with this Three of Swords here, I do feel like there might even be a bit of a heart chakra blockage. It's not being fully connected with your authenticity, not feeling like you truly can be honest or authentic or vulnerable with others without being judged. And looking at these three spades here, they're actually reminding me of the lower three chakras. So the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus. And I feel like those are the chakras that need the most work at this moment. So the root chakra deals with our reality. It deals with how we ground ourselves in this reality, whether we are grounded or not. And then the sacral chakra connects specifically with feminine energy. Thus, this chakra is the seat of our creativity. And creativity is all about self-expression. So if at this moment you don't feel like you can express yourself in any way, not just through the creative arts, but just in the way that you walk, in the way that you talk, in the way that you present yourself to the world, if you can feel like you can express the real you, then there definitely is a blockage there. And then that leads up to the solar plexus, which we talked about is about confidence. So if you are not able to express yourself because of fears of being judged, or what will others think, or what will they say, or fears of, if I show up as me, what if people don't like it and they leave me, or like fears of being abandoned possibly. And if you feel like you cannot be yourself, then how is it that you can connect with these psychic abilities when these psychic abilities are a part of who you are? You know, these might be one of the things that you unconsciously are feeling shameful over, that you are unconsciously suppressing. Because if you were to just allow yourself to be without holding yourself back, these abilities would be there at the snap of a finger. Like I said, this is second nature for you guys. It's like speaking another language, basically. But you guys are afraid to speak that language, or you have been shown to be afraid to speak this language. I get heavy energy in regards to shame, and shame is what blocks our sacral chakra. So see, what is it that you feel shame over? And the sacral chakra is very important for you guys, because how your psychic abilities are able to better express themselves is when you allow yourself to be creative through playfulness, through being lighthearted. And so having this chakra blocked, it kind of messes with your creativity. It messes with you feeling safe enough to fully express yourself, which we were talking about before. And the root chakra does deal with feeling safe, with feeling secure. And it is fear that blocks our root chakra. So what is it that you guys are afraid of? What is it that makes you feel unsafe? What past experiences are you holding on to that are making you feel like you can't be safe where you are right now, especially being safe in your body? So one of the things I do feel might help you guys a lot is affirmations, is affirming to yourself over and over again that you are safe. So how do you think you can do that? What do you think at this moment is causing this fear reaction, triggering your nervous system in a way? You know, when our nervous system is triggered, that's when we feel fearful and anxious. And when we have gone through some traumatic experience, our nervous system can be stuck, you know, in that fear and that trauma. And even though our reality at the current moment is not really, you know, showing any signs of danger, because our nervous system is kind of stuck in that state, we tend to still feel anxious. So I do feel like learning more about the nervous system, the parasympathetic and the sympathetic, about those might help you guys a lot, because I do see like some type of like even mental anxiety here. The swords or spades do connect with the element of air. So the other thing I'm seeing for you guys, because we do have the number 3, breathing exercises might be very, very helpful, because I do feel like it will help calm you and help relax your nervous system. Because like I said, for you guys, feeling relaxed, feeling safe, feeling at peace is what allows you to better connect with your psychic abilities. I know there's like different breathing exercises on YouTube that you can find where they guide you and they kind of count for you the inhale, the retaining of the breath, and then the exhale. And so I do recommend looking more into that. And the other thing I'm seeing with this Three of Swords is the throat chakra, which I am noticing here with the color blue. The throat chakra deals about speaking your truth, and it's about self-expression. I know oftentimes people say that the throat chakra, in order to activate it or to heal it, is to better communicate. But the throat chakra is not so much about verbal communication, but it's about self-expression, right? And we can express ourselves in many ways, like we already mentioned, in the way that you decide to express your truth. So it could be through, verbally communicating it. It could be through a creative outlet. It can be in the way that you dress, in the way that you decide to walk, in your posture, in the way you decide to do or not do something. So this is about being honest, but most importantly, being honest with yourself. Especially when you're not honest about your feelings. Like if somebody tells you, are you angry? And you say, no, I'm fine. Or if you are angry, you don't know exactly what you're angry about. For example, let's say you are really feeling angry about your parents divorcing. I don't know, that's just an example. But whenever your mother or your father asks you, why are you angry? You tell them, oh, it's because my friend didn't invite me to her party. Something like that. And you're not really being honest about what's really bothering you. So this is about, not feeling shame about telling others what are your true feelings. And intuition or psychic abilities is all about honesty. How can we truly trust our intuition if we cannot even be honest with ourselves? So it's time to start practicing a bit of this honesty. And then we do have the Three of Pentacles here. The Three of Pentacles speaks about collaboration, working with others, about community. But I'm being more called to this safe here, the money safe. And I feel like one of the other things that worries you guys a lot is actually resources, finances. There might even be like lack mentality type of thing. For some of you guys, there might be a tendency to overwork yourself and to maybe not even ask others for help. Like you put so much pressure on yourself, making you think that you need to do things on your own, or you should be able to do things on your own. And so you guys really push yourself to the limit at times. And whatever was once a fun project then becomes work, then becomes a responsibility, even a burden at times. And like we said, you guys need to be in this playful energy. And so whenever you're worrying about this, whenever you're worrying that you have to be perfect, that you have to be good, that you have to do this on your own, that if it doesn't come easy for you at the first try, it means that you're not good enough. This thinking, this mentality, takes and sucks away all the fun from whatever it is that you're doing and you're creating. So with this Three of Pentacles, it is asking you, be creative and have fun with being creative, because it is when you're allowing yourself to be creative that you best channel. And when you allow yourself to also work with others in harmony and peace and in play, that is when your psychic abilities are the strongest. And it is because you guys' energy is actually very, very open. And so you guys actually take inspiration from others. And you inspire others when you allow yourself to be this open. When you allow all these beautiful colors to emit. When you're being honest, when you're being confident, when you're feeling safe. And I do feel like you guys are meant to work with others. You are meant to inspire others. But feeling like you need to do everything on your own is keeping you encased. And then we do have the Joker here, which is the Fool. And the Fool is again that childlike energy. It's free-spirited. It's a wanderer who wanders off because it wants adventure, it wants to discover, it wants to learn more. And the best way to learn is learning from others. Because you are perfect, but you came into this life to grow and to learn and to expand. and thinking that you should already know everything, that you should already be able to do everything from the get-go, that is being quite unfair with yourself. Because no one comes into this world knowing everything, at least not consciously so. Also start working on those really high expectations you're placing on yourself, or even false ideals. Because I feel like, that's very hard, but it's sort of like self-punishment in a way. And why are you punishing yourself? Going back to this lack mentality, like fear of not having enough, being left out in the cold in some way, that is causing a lot of worry and a lot of tension. And again, it's kind of blocking you from that creativity. And every time you do allow yourself to be creative, or start a project, or just do something fun, it sort of then becomes work to you, where you possibly start worrying more about the results, or worrying more about, the money. What am I going to get out of this financially, or in terms to acknowledgement or praise or recognition? And that really just blocks you completely. Because I'm noticing how this safe is empty. So it's like there's a moment where you feel depleted, like there's no ideas coming in. It's like you guys overwork yourselves so much to the point of exploitation. And that is when you guys feel the most disconnected from your abilities, from your creativity, from your intuition. You guys are putting up a wall by putting all this pressure on yourself, or all of these expectations, or worrying too much about outcomes and results rather than the enjoyment of doing the thing. Okay, but I'm going to move into the other cards. And I tend to go back and forth. I'm so sorry, because I get messages as I go. So if I do that, I apologize. But these cards here will let us know about how you can better develop your psychic abilities. So for tarot cards, we have the Moon on Water, which is the Moon card. And then we have, the Green Woman, which is the Empress. And then we have the number 3 again. So we have 3 threes, and 3 cards fell out for you guys. So definitely the number 3 seems to be of great significance to this group. You might have been born on the 3rd month, or on the 3rd day, or you might even be at life path number 3, and this is simply serving as confirmation. Yet even if you're not a life path number 3, I will still suggest looking up what a life path number 3 is all about, because it will give you more information in regards to what your spiritual gifts are and how to best use them in this lifetime. Okay, but now I'm going to move into the clarifiers, and we have the Divine. Wow. And we have vulnerability. So it's interesting that we have the Green Woman, because I personally associate the Green Woman with feminine energy. And feminine energy, as we were mentioning before, is deeply connected with the sacral chakra. And that energy center is all about creation and creativity. And we have a lot of that in this spread. So much of it. You guys are creators. It is through your creativity that your psychic abilities shine. Now, the Empress, or the Green Woman, is all about nurturing as well. The Empress can also speak about an entrepreneur. So it might be the case that most of you are actually business owners, or are self-employed, or you are creators that have monetized your creations. And that is beautiful to see. It's beautiful to see you in your power, to see you fruitful, to see you abundant. Yet I will ask you this question. Has your creativity turned into a chore? Has it become burdensome to you? Has it become stressful? Has it become work? Because I feel that what hinders your psychic abilities is whenever it is that you create becomes work rather than play. And we were speaking of that with the 3 of Pentacles. And I want to make this clear. Creativity is not simply about the arts, drawing, painting, singing, or dancing. Creativity is about self-expression. Creativity comes from a very vulnerable space, which we do have here, because it's about expressing something very intimate about you. It's about allowing your soul to come through in something that you do in this physical realm. So is your work hindering your creativity? Is what you do in your everyday to day life hindering your creativity? How much space are you allowing yourself to fully just be creative without expecting anything in return? Because your psychic abilities are like this inner child. They feel quite sensitive in that they are not here for show, they are not here to gain some type of results. They are not here to make money or be acknowledged or gain recognition or popularity. Your psychic abilities just are. Just like a kid. It's funny how I'm personifying your psychic abilities, but that's how it's feeling to me. It's like your psychic abilities came here to explore, to discover, to connect with this world that is full of color. And so when you start demanding too much from it, when you start using it for personal gains in a way, or you start forcing it in a way, that is when your psychic abilities flee you. They literally run away from you and hide. It's sort of like a child who, just came here to have fun and to play. And you're demanding things from this child. You're telling them that they have to be the best. You are judging them and reprimanding them for not showing up in the way that you want them to. This child will flee from you, right? And so that's how I'm sensing your psychic abilities. I say all this because the Empress can be quite structured and can be very demanding at times and quite perfectionist. And it's because they know how powerful they are and they know the amazing things that they can create. And so they always expect the best from themselves. But being this harsh on yourself, you're not allowing yourself to be creative. You're just setting certain expectations and rules upon yourself that you have to follow. And so the way that you can develop your psychic abilities is by being more nurturing to yourself. Yes, keep being this Empress. Yes, keep working hard, but also give yourself a time and space where you can play. So for example, if you tend to work your 9-to-5 job, right? Or your whatever business hours you have created for yourself, make sure to make space every day for yourself where you can simply relax and where you can create simply to create. You don't have to show it to anybody. You don't have to monetize it. You don't have to get any type of acknowledgement or recognition for it. This is solely for you. This is solely for that inner child that is wanting to be imaginative. And you don't have to judge it. So because we do have the green woman here, we have the cauldron and the milk. This is just an example. It doesn't have to be your case, but some of you might really enjoy cooking or baking. And you don't have to be an excellent baker or an excellent cook to enjoy it. You just like mixing ingredients because it allows you to feel at peace and it allows you to just be without overthinking the situation. So if that is the case, if you already know what brings you peace, what helps you center, I recommend for you to do that. Do that whenever you can and make space for it, make time for it, and don't rush it. If you're gonna do this for you, do it at your pace. Don't feel like you have to finish it. Don't feel like it's a task or it's a chore, because it isn't, and it isn't meant to be. This can also apply to drawing. You don't have to be an excellent artist. Just grab a pen or a pencil and a notebook and doodle. Just allow yourself to doodle or free write. And when we free write, we're not thinking about what we're going to write. We simply write whatever comes to mind. And for some of you, this might be quite difficult at first, because I remember when I first tried it, it was pretty difficult for me because I myself am an overthinker. But as time goes by and as you start doing this more frequently, it becomes easier because you stop resisting, you stop forcing things to happen. So if you have ever tried automatic writing and you feel like it doesn't work for you, it is mostly because either you're too up in your head for certain messages to come through, and that creates blockage. So I do feel like for you guys, it's so important to not force things or resist certain things, because feminine energy and vulnerability is all about receptivity, being receptive. And when we are forcing certain things to happen, or when we feel like we need to have control over everything because we are seeking perfection, then it is very difficult to be receptive and to be creative, because creativity is about being receptive. It's about channeling, ideas. When we channel spirit, we are mostly using our imagination. And when we start thinking too logically, that is when we we create a blockage in the channel because we're not just simply allowing ourselves to receive whatever wants to come through. So I definitely recommend free writing, automatic writing, drawing, painting, cooking, baking, whatever it is that kind of gets you out of your headspace. And again, when you do this for you. It's only for you. It's not for anybody else. It's not to gain any type of result or any type of material thing. It's solely for you and for your inner child. Like I mentioned in the intuitive message, I feel like you guys are very good at connecting the dots or seeing how the dots connect. So I keep thinking of like kitchen or cooking or even doing potions or spells. Like some of you might be very good at that. And again, even if you don't have much knowledge in regards to that, or you feel like you're not very skilled at it yet, I do recommend practicing it. Just doing it for fun. But I do feel like as you practice this more and as you do this more, you're going to see that this is one of your many gifts. I do feel like you guys know how certain things affect each other. So you might be really good at creating potions, or like I said, at cooking. You might be very good at creating remedies, like working with herbs. I also feel like you guys really connect with nature, and you might also be really good at working with flowers and plants. Is herbology the term, or was that just something coming from the Harry Potter universe? But horticulture, I think it's what it's called. You might be really good at that as well. Yeah, just delve more into that, and that will allow for you to connect more with your psychic abilities, because it just allows your imagination to run free. And that for you guys is extremely important, because I'm also seeing that with the divine here. See how her hair is literally a waterfall? So this is reminding me of letting your hair loose and also of free flow. Like there is so much creativity and creative ideas and creative energy that you guys are suppressing and withholding. And I say that because we have this egg here under the water, and I'm sensing that inside this egg are all your psychic abilities, are all your creative ideas and your creative energy. And as I was mentioning previously, I feel like you guys have suppressed all of this for a very long time, because the moon does signify hidden things, and it almost feels like you guys have been hiding who you are for a really long time. For some of you, this might even be denoting like coming out of the spiritual closet. I've heard that expression before, and I feel it applies for this group, because I do feel like you guys have so many spiritual gifts and psychic abilities. And so this is about cracking the egg open so that you can reconnect with those gifts and abilities. And the way to do that is by being honest with yourself and by healing the traumas that made you feel like you had to suppress these, or by acknowledging the fears. What is it that you fear about your psychic abilities? What are the fears that other people have projected onto you about your spiritual gifts? Or maybe there is some type of conflict between religions, maybe the religion you were brought up in versus what you personally have experienced, and it's time to address that, because suppressing these psychic abilities, it's like suppressing a part of you. You can't show up fully because you're not allowing yourself to connect with your natural talents and your natural gifts. And so in order to feel more connected with yourself, there is a need to kind of acknowledge these gifts and these talents that you naturally possess. You don't have to exercise them if you don't want to, but this is more about releasing the shame over them. And I was getting that energy of shame at the beginning. That's why I feel like the sacral chakra is being highlighted a lot for you guys, as well as the solar plexus, because the solar plexus is about knowing who you are. It's about being confident in regards to who you are, all of you. And with the moon and the green woman here, I am getting a lot of witchy vibes. Maybe the occult is something that you're very interested in, but you keep it on the down low. And I would recommend, delving more into that if you want to, and connecting with people who also resonate with that. So you won't feel so alone, and so you won't feel like you're hiding something, because there is no need to feel shame over this. Also, if you can, maybe talk about this with somebody that you really trust and you really respect, who is close to you, who maybe is not so much into spirituality, I think that might also be very liberating. Because like I was mentioning before, for you guys, it's also about honesty. And you being honest about your likes, your passions, your desires, about who you are will help a lot in releasing your psychic abilities. Because like I said, it's like your psychic abilities are this inner child, and at the moment it's like this inner child is hiding because it feels like it's not wanted, because it feels like it's something bad. And what you need to do is kind of show up as this mother nurturing figure, letting this inner child know, letting your psychic abilities know, like, hey, there's nothing wrong with you. I feel no shame over you. I'm proud of you. I love you. It's okay to show up. Now, some of you might have very prophetic dreams, so I do recommend keeping a dream journal and getting very acquainted with your dreams. What symbols and signs come up in your dreams? What is it that you feel emotionally whenever certain dreams surface up? Are there any repetitive dreams? Write them down and start interpreting them. And have fun while you interpret them. Don't take it too seriously, okay? Because you can go wrong. These are your dreams. Like, spirit works with you. They know how your mind works. And so they're gonna send you things that they already know how you are going to interpret them. So for example, if butterflies for you means transformation, they are going to send butterflies knowing that you know that it means transformation. So trusting yourself, okay? Don't overthink it. Have fun with it. The more you have fun with something, the less you spend up in your head. I also feel like working with water, the element of water, as well as fire, might help you guys a lot. Water helps cleanse our energy, and I was getting that visual of being submerged in water. So if you can, and you are near the sea or the ocean, I would recommend taking a swim in the water, because salt water, like I said, removes heavy energy, and it is always good to have, to do some type of energy cleansing. If you can't, visit the sea or the ocean, then taking an Epsom salt bath, and if that is not available to you, then simply standing under the shower with the intention of having the water wash away any unwanted energies. So you can even visualize it, like the water, like the heavy energy or the unwanted energy is mud, and the water is washing it off you. Also, drinking a lot of water is also very beneficial, especially for our energetical body and our emotional body, because I feel our emotional body is connected with the element of water. I feel like clean water is one of the tools that we overlook. Clean water is magical, you guys. It is powerful. So make use of it if it is available to you. And you can also set intentions to your water. So before you start the day, set an intention for your water, whatever you want it to be, to cleanse your energy, to feel healthy, whatever it is that you want. And drink the water slowly, gulp by gulp, and feel how the water cleanses you within. And some of you might even want to work with moon magic, or even doing moon gazing or stargazing. I feel like that will help open or activate your third eye chakra. So staring at the moon, seeing if you can see in the moon's aura. And again, don't make it a task, okay? Don't make it a test for you guys. Have fun with it. As you develop your psychic abilities, the thing I can recommend the most for this group is to have fun. The more you start worrying about it, the more you start worrying about your progress, the more difficult it's going to feel for you. And the thing is, it doesn't have to be difficult. It wasn't meant to be difficult. Also, maybe collecting moon water. So moon water is basically, you get a jar, a clear glass jar, you fill it with water, regular water, and then you leave it out whenever there is a full moon or even a new moon. And make sure to bring it back indoors before the sun comes out, right? Because you only want the water to absorb the energy of the moon. And then you have moon water. You can use that as a spray for your body to revitalize yourself or to cleanse yourself. You can also use it for your space. Of course, if you're going to use it for yourself, make sure to use clean water. And if you're going to use it for objects, you can use like whatever tap water, whatever type of water you want. But again, that moon energy connects with feminine energy as well. So there's a lot of feminine energy here. There's a lot in terms to creation and in regards to the sacral chakra. See this image that we have here? This is reminding me of fertility and as well as sensuality and sexuality. So that is something also that you're being called to explore, especially if there is any shame in regards to that, in regards to your body, in regards to your sexuality or your sensuality, or if there is any trauma in regards to that as well. I feel it's very important to start healing that and start addressing that. Of course, it is whenever you are ready, because we can't force these things. We can't force ourselves to heal. We can't force ourselves to address certain things we're not ready to address. So in your time, okay, you guys? And always, if you have someone that you can trust and that you can speak to, please speak to them. Communicate with them, let them know what's going on or what went on, and liberate yourself from those experiences or from that pain, because you don't have to carry this alone. You don't have to suppress anything anymore. And looking at this egg, it's reminding me of cooking again, so there might be some cooks out there. Okay, but now I want to read the back of this card because I didn't at the beginning and it's bugging me. We have Otter Pleasure. Energetic and playful in every way, Otter celebrates life. His cheerful spirit reminds us to make merry even when the journey is taxing. He encourages us to find some measure of joy in everything we do. Intelligent and curious, Otter is a master of positive outlook. Armed with an optimistic point of view, he is unable to approach challenges with desperation. He teaches us lessons of pleasure and simplicity and prompts us to manifest our own happiness. Yes, happiness comes from within you, so happiness is in your hands always. The other thing I'm seeing is you might want to practice affirmations, loving affirmation. You can look at yourself in the mirror while you do these affirmations, or you can simply embrace yourself, close your eyes, and go to a loving, safe space in your mind and do these affirmations. Tell yourself how much you love yourself. Let yourself know that you are safe, that you will keep yourself safe, that you are safe in your body, so that you can start reassuring that inner child. And so that you can feel safe within yourself to know that if your psychic abilities do surface up, or if you start, reconnecting with them or developing them, everything is going to be okay because you are at the driver's seat. It is time to trust yourselves once more, to live life because you want to experience it, because you want to enjoy the view and the journey itself. And as you do more of this, you are going to slowly start discover more and more psychic abilities. They're just gonna pop up by themselves without you needing to force it, without you needing to look deeper into it. They're simply gonna come to the surface and surprise you. So be open, okay? So those are all the messages I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I want to thank Kino so much for doing this collaboration. And as always, if you resonated with this reading, then please leave a like or a comment. Let me know how it did resonate. And if you want to stick around for more readings with me, Kim, then please do subscribe. I do offer personal readings. All the information is in my website, and the link to my website can be found in the description box down below. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and until the next moment, bye-bye. Bienvenidos, seekers who chose the Amethyst. So just in case you happen to skip the introduction, this pick a card is a collaboration with Kino Tarot, who is also an amazing tarot reader, by the way. So this is sort of like a two-parts reading where I will be assisting you with figuring out how to connect to and develop your psychic abilities, and Kino will help you with finding out what your spiritual gifts and psychic abilities are. So if you happen to stumble upon this video first and you're eager to know what your spiritual gifts or psychic abilities are, you can definitely check out Kino's video, which I will be linking in the description box down below. And then if you are called to it, you can come back to this pick a card to get some advice and guidance on how to hone these abilities and gifts. Okay? So if you're still here and you decided to stick around for this reading, then let's get right into it. So as I connected with the energy of this group, a message did come to mind, which was, where the wind meets the sea. And I just had this feeling that these were actually lyrics to a song. So I decided to look it up, and all that came out was the song from Frozen 2, All Is Found. But the lyrics in that song are actually where the north wind meets the sea. I don't know, maybe that song might be relevant or of some significance to you guys, but what I feel Spirit is trying to say through all of this is you guys tend to feel like all that you seek, all that you want is outside from you. So if it is answers or knowledge, wisdom that you are seeking, you tend to feel like you yourself do not have the ability to give this to you, that you need to go to others for them to give you the answers. And because we are talking about psychic abilities and spiritual gifts, this might be in terms to you guys do not really trust your intuition. Your intuition might be telling you something, or your psychic abilities are kicking in through clairvoyance, claircognizance, clairsentience, whatever it may be, telling you certain information, but you guys don't believe it. And so you tend to go to other people, so for example psychics or mediums or tarot readers, and you tend to rely on them more or believe them more rather than whatever is coming in for you. So it's sort of like you guys need the validation, you guys need the confirmation that whatever you're picking up on, whatever your intuition is telling you is accurate. And this invalidates yourself a lot because it causes mistrust, right? It's like you guys cannot fully trust yourselves to lead yourself in the right direction. And the other thing I'm getting is you guys might tend to minimize yourself a lot. You downplay your abilities quite a lot, which is very unfortunate because I do feel you guys hold a lot of wisdom and a lot of knowledge. I do feel like you are individuals or souls who have incarnated many, many times on this earth and even on other planes or on other planets, so solar systems. So you have an infinite amount of wisdom stored within you, and it tends to come up to the surface every once in a while, but whenever it does, you guys tend to doubt it, or you feel like it's nonsense when it isn't. Because if I recall the Frozen 2 storyline, Elsa goes on a quest believing that all the answers are on this island. Yet when she arrives there, she finds that the answer was her. She was the key. She was the bridge between the physical world and the magical world. So Spirit is encouraging you guys to not downplay yourself anymore. Yes, it's, helpful to get that validation and extra confirmation, but it's not so helpful when we do it to the point where we do not feel ourselves to be reliable enough to depend on ourselves completely. Okay, but now I'm going to move into your cards. Okay, so this oracle card over here is to let us know what energy you exude or what archetype you embody when you are connected with your psychic abilities. Basically, this one is here to let us know what is needed to connect with your psychic abilities. And this card over here is going to let us know what is currently blocking you from connecting with your psychic abilities, okay? Before I get into these cards, full transparency, I myself am not very knowledgeable or acquainted with specific tools or methods on how to develop psychic abilities. So I will not be using any fancy terminology or recommending any resources such as books, podcasts, videos, and such. I will simply be going by my intuition, what the cards are telling me, as well as spirit. Just wanted to let you guys know because I might tend to ramble quite a bit. Okay, but we do have the koala here, which denotes wisdom. And then we do have the Six of Swords, number 29, the mouse. Okay. Yeah, so as I was mentioning in the intuitive message, you guys are extremely wise and knowledgeable. You guys are ancient souls, but you do have trouble believing that you already have the answers, that you already know what to do. I'm getting a very kind of introverted or very humble type of energy with the koala. It's like if you guys were in a room full of people, instead of like socializing with the people, you guys would want to merge with the wallpaper. You prefer to be the wallflower most of the time. And like I said before, you guys downplay yourself a lot. You might tend to think that other people are more talented than you, that they are more beautiful than you, more knowledgeable than you. You easily see the magic and the beauty in others, but you have a difficulty seeing it in yourself. And what you don't realize is that you actually shine. Whenever you forget to put up your guard, you guys illuminate. But it's almost like when you start realizing your own power, when you start realizing your own magic, you become frightened of it. It's like you close yourself off. Because I'm noticing how we have this brown color here in his bottom area, and I'm getting a very grounding energy from that. And it's sort of like you guys don't know how to ground your psychic abilities or know how to ground the information that you do receive, or you have difficulty in knowing how to use it in your day-to-day life. And so whatever ideas come to you, whatever information comes to you, you kind of keep it to yourself because you might think it's not worth sharing or it's, nonsense. And I do feel like it's coming from a space of not believing in yourself, not believing in whatever it is that you have to offer. Because I am getting a bit of like a murky energy here. There's like a lot of self-doubt, a lot of self-criticism going on. And the koala energy tends to be very chill, They keep to themselves, but it's not about downplaying themselves. They keep to themselves because that is the best way for them to recharge, to maintain themselves and maintain their energy in perfect harmony and balance. And so if you guys tend to be quite the introverts, do not feel like that is a bad thing because it isn't. It's just your way of being, And I do think it's very much like the koala. You guys need space of solitude in order to recharge, in order to be at calm and at peace and feel harmonious within yourself. And so the message I'm getting here is you don't have to share all the information that comes to you. You don't have to push yourself to be in uncomfortable situations. The koala is about allowing yourself to be who you are and to be where you are the most comfortable in. But it's not to a degree where you're keeping yourself in a comfort zone out of fear, out of insecurity. It's kind of using discernment, right? Are you choosing solitude? Are you choosing to retreat because you need it? Or are you doing it because you are fearful of the unknown? Because you are fearful of the outside world? Because you are fearful of your own power? Because I do see that there's a fine line here. I would like you to notice when you are alone, when you are with yourself, do you spend a lot of it self-criticizing yourself, comparing yourself to others, judging yourself? Acknowledge how much of your time and energy you're spending, downplaying yourself, criticizing yourself, judging yourself, rather than actually recharging your energy, rather than creating a space where you feel at peace, where you are connecting with yourself, and where you are allowing yourself to be without any judgment. Because the koala here is giving me this vibe of someone who knows who they are, of someone who knows where they stand. If they don't like to drink, they're not going to judge themselves about that. They're simply going to let others know that they're not comfortable with drinking, period. We're not going to cross the boundary. We're not going to debate about it. I simply do not drink. And they are okay with that. This is about someone who knows their quirks, who knows their weaknesses and knows their strengths, and they've come to be okay with all of that. So I am getting this energy of working to clear the heart space because I feel there's a lot of judgment in regards to the self. There's a lot of even resentment in regards to who you are. And there needs to be none of that because you are you, and who you are is wonderful and is perfect, and it's time for you to recognize that. Now I do want to read the message in the back. Koala gives us with sacred wisdom. Through his ability to climb high into the canopy, he encourages us to seek a broader vision of the universe. Above the fray, we are able to see distances far beyond the horizon. Sitting atop the trees, he speaks of interconnection and solidarity. In his presence, he beckons us to protect the memories of our many ancestors, honor our fragile ecosystem, and protect Mother Earth from our recklessness. Koala's wisdom calls upon us to uphold our fidelity. Yeah, so I do feel this is about being loyal to yourself, being loyal to who you are. And when you start doing that, you are able to be loyal to others or start working with others. Because like I said, this is about getting a higher perspective. And I do feel like when you guys need to retreat or retract from the world, it's when you are needing to see from a higher perspective, because it's usually when we create distance that we are able to see the situation better. Because if we are too close to it, if we are in the midst of it, it's very difficult to see what is going on. And so it's okay for you to want to retreat. That is totally fine. But how are you using that time and space? Are you using to gain perspective, or are you using it to your own detriment? And we do have the Six of Swords here, and the Six of Swords is all about transitions and moving forward, moving into calmer waters. So I do see this need to distance yourself from that which causes a lot of distress. And it might even be your own thoughts, right? Your thoughts might be causing you a lot of distress, especially your inner dialogue. So create some distance between your thoughts and you. See them from a bird's eye view. See what they're trying to tell you. See them as self-judgment. See them as your inner critic. See them as fears. See them as insecurities. Do not see them as truth, because they are not. Because with these mice here, I'm just getting gossiping and infestation. And I feel like that's what's happening internally with your thoughts. It's infesting and intrusive thoughts that are getting the best of you most of the time. And usually it's those who have a lot to offer, which tend to suffer a lot from insecurities. And it might be because during our life, there might have been other people who realized and noticed how bright you shined, and they became intimidated by it. And so they felt the need to put you down or to discourage you to find your own power, because maybe they themselves didn't want to be left behind, or they didn't want to be outshined, or maybe they saw themselves in you and they were afraid of their own power and their own magic, and they tried to fight against it. And when that happens, we tend to carry the beliefs of others. We tend to believe what others tell us, and we feed into that. So you guys have been feeding into this belief that you're not good enough, that you're not smart enough, that you're not intuitive enough, that you're not creative enough, whatever it may be. And it's time to start moving away from that, because that is what is blocking you from connecting with your psychic abilities. Because what I'm sensing mostly for you guys is you guys have like claircognizance. You tend to have this knowing about things. And you do feel connected with the world around you. I'm even getting that some of you might have been told in your past, or maybe recently, that you're a bit too clingy. Hearing that hurt a lot. And maybe because of this, you decided to detach yourself, to not even connect. I wouldn't say not connect with others, but not be as affectionate as you truly are, be as loving as you want to be, because we are noticing all this pink color here in the background, and it's reminding me of the higher heart chakra. And the higher heart chakra is about unconditional love. And you guys have so much love to give. And you don't feel it just for people. You feel it for nature. You feel it for animals. You feel it for every living being in existence. Sometimes you might even feel it for objects. You might tend to name objects, or let's say if you have 3 pens and you only use 2 of them, you have to use the 3rd pen, because if you don't, you feel like maybe the 3rd pen feels left out. Like, it's sort of like that. You feel for everybody, and because you guys are very empathetic, but you tend to hide this part of yourself because you think that people feel uncomfortable by it. But I'm here to tell you that, yes, possibly people feel uncomfortable by it, but it's not because it's a bad thing. It's because people are simply not used to such loving nature. We're more used to judgment and criticism and competition and comparison rather than true encouragement and empathy. Who you are is not bad. What you feel naturally is not bad. Because I think that one of the things that is blocking you is actually this distance from your true loving nature. It's like you guys have decided to, instead of connecting with your heart space, you've been delving more into your mental realm. Like you've been more up in your head rather than in your heart. And that has been causing a lot of like discrepancies, a lot of feeling unaligned with yourself. And it's time to bring balance back. It's time to start connecting more with that heart space and, doing what feels right to you. If you want to help others, then it's going out and seeing how you can help others. Maybe getting yourself involved in volunteering work. If it's not with people, you can do it with animals at a pet shelter. You can help like the ecosystem, cleaning beaches, cleaning the park. You don't even have to enter a community. You can decide to do this by yourself, picking up the trash around your neighborhood. I assure you, and I even feel like crying, I don't know why, I assure you that will help you feel a lot better and a lot connected with yourself. And it will help slowly start building your confidence, which is what I feel you guys are also needing. And I feel like the majority of those who chose this group are students or are hoping to, further their education or their career, but you tend to doubt your capabilities a lot or maybe second guess whether you should continue studying or not. And Spirit is encouraging you, keep doing what you love to do. Keep on moving forward. And I feel like crying. Why do I feel like crying? But keep on moving forward because you guys will do amazing things, and you have so much to offer and to give. And it's not because we're demanding anything from you, it's just because who you are is more than enough, and who you are is needed. And it's time for you guys to start believing in yourselves. And if you are currently in an environment that does not feel very safe to you, or where there are people who constantly are working to put you down, if you can create some distance with these people or maybe move away from this environment, it is encouraged for you to do so. And I understand that for some of you, it might not be, in your hands to make this move, this transition to get out of this environment. So simply setting the intention of wanting a safer environment for yourself will help a lot, because I do feel that the universe will work with you to make this happen. They just simply need your approval, because remember that the universe respects free will. Yeah, and the Six of Swords also talks about distance. So whenever you are feeling confused, whenever there is too much noise happening, then if you can, find a place where you can be in solitude. Distance yourself from the situation, from the chaos. And if you can, if it's a chaos within your mind, create distance with those thoughts, be it through meditation, be it through going outside, doing that volunteer work, getting yourself involved in something that makes you feel more lighthearted, that connects you with that heart space, that allows you to be compassionate and empathetic, allows you to exude this loving energy that you guys naturally are. That will help a lot in clearing out your mind. And in doing that, you guys will get a better perspective of the situation. You will get more clarity. You will get the answers that you are seeking, that you feel that other people have. This will also help you discern what is your intuition and what are these thoughts. Because I know when we have gone through a lot of stressful situations, when we have gone through a lot of trauma, we can get confused in what is, thoughts, what is a pattern repeating itself, and what is our intuition. If we have grown up in a stressful environment, we become used to that, right? And so we kind of tend to respond or go towards what is stressful, even if we don't like it, because that's what we're used to. So creating distance, making space for yourself will help you discern better. Because when you are in situations that are loving, that you feel at peace with, you will start to realize what is peaceful and what is stressful and detrimental. And that will help you in building your discernment. What is from my intuition and what is just something like a habit or a pattern repeating itself. Because I feel like this is what also kind of clouds you and makes you feel like you guys need somebody else to tell you what to do. Because it might be the case where you feel like you have followed your intuition in the past, but it led you astray. And it was because maybe you weren't following your intuition. You were just following these repeated cycles. So yeah, I feel discernment is very important for you guys. And what will help you with that is creating some distance. Okay, but now I'm going to move into the other cards. So these cards here will let us know how to better develop your psychic abilities. And we have the Four of Bows, Celebration, which is the Four of Wands. That's an amazing card. And then we have the Six of Bows, Abundance, which is the Six of Wands in the Rider-Waite's Tarot. And to clarify, we have the Mother card, and then we have the Star. Wow. So I'm noticing a lot of fire energy here, and fire is about creativity, is about inspiration, and spontaneity is the word I'm getting. But the Four of Bows speaks about, like this card says, celebration, joy. It's about union and festivity. And the Six of Bows is about victory, success, as the card says, abundance, as well as being celebrated. So what I'm seeing here, the first message that came to mind, this is about starting to celebrate yourself and celebrating life. And if we are in that, doom and gloom type of mood at the moment, hearing this type of message might be like such a chore. But like I said at the beginning, your energy, your archetype is extremely loving. You guys are literally the embodiment of love and life. So with this Four of Bows, I am getting community. And like I said, this is about finding a community in which you can be this loving energy, in which you can be yourself, in which you can show up in your true power and not be afraid of being too much. If I feel like you guys have heard that before, like you're too much. And that's why you have retreated into this introvert type of energy, in which you're now wanting to become the wallflower because you fear that if you were to really be yourself, people will tell you that you're too much, whatever that means. And it's time to let go of that belief because it has been suppressing you so very much. Because look at all this fire energy. You guys are extremely energetic and you're extremely passionate about life. Even if you might not feel like it right now, I feel like that is your core energy. So I do feel like connecting with people or finding people that allow you to just be you will be a great benefit to you. And I do feel like connecting with others is something also very important for you guys. Especially for my introverts over there. I understand you because I'm an introvert and I don't tend to socialize that much, but I do feel like socializing is something that will help you guys a lot. It will help liberate you because I feel like people, relationships, they can either like cause us to shut down or they can inspire us to open up. And it's time to start having relationships that open you up. And I definitely see that is what is coming for you guys. And so when it does come, when the opportunity does present itself to meet new people, to connect with people who have like similar tastes as you or similar vision as you, don't hide away from that. Don't back away from it. Go into it because there are so many connections here waiting for you that are meant to bring joy into your life, that are meant to inspire you in a very positive and healthy way. And I'm also getting dance, play, music, singing. Moving your body is also very important for you guys. When we move our body, it allows for energy to flow. And it allows for anything that has been stuck or suppressed to be released. Because our body also holds like emotional trauma, and sometimes that can manifest in physical ailments. The most common one is usually stress, or headaches. And so if you tend to suffer from this a lot, I do feel like doing some type of movement. And I know that the koalas are not very active people, they tend to sleep most of the time. And again, I resonate with that because I myself am not very active, physically active. So if that is the case, Spirit is recommending for you to do something. It doesn't have to be something hardcore. It could be yoga. It could be, just putting on your favorite playlist and just dancing, just moving around, shaking it off, especially every time you're starting to feel nervous or anxious, just shake it off. That will help a lot and release tension, and like I said, to get that energy flowing once more. We also have a lot of fire energy here, the campfires. I do feel like working with the elements, specifically fire, might be very beneficial to you guys. Of course, always be safe, maybe like looking into a flame, turning a candle and meditating on the flame might help a lot with opening your third eye chakra. I'm not sure why, but that's the message I'm getting. Maybe that is some type of divination also you would like to explore if it is calling to you. And I also feel it will help you connect more with your sacral chakra. And that sacral chakra is about, creation and creativity. And I also feel it kind of deals with confidence as well, especially connecting you with your feminine energy. Feeling okay in your body, feeling confident about your physical appearance, feeling confident about your sexuality and your sensuality. I also feel that is very important. And we also use fire to cleanse and clear out energy. If there is any objects that you are keeping that trigger you or that cause you to remember bad experiences, I do feel Spirit is recommending you to just remove that from your space. If it's like an object you can easily burn, without it being dangerous, like a letter per se, then I do feel like burning it will help kind of release any attachments towards that experience. You can even do like writing your feelings on a paper and then burning that, so to be able to release that emotions or those feelings. We do have the Mother card here, and it's giving me very overprotective vibes. This might be denoting, a mother figure in your life who tends to be overprotective or was very overprotective of you. And maybe they were a bit too critical of you as well. Maybe in your family you felt sort of like the black sheep, and that caused a lot of unwanted attention from your parental figures or from others. And again, it made you feel like you needed to be separate, like you couldn't connect with other people. If this is resonating, I do feel like this is also what is kind of blocking you in a way, because I feel like the majority of your psychic abilities, they kind of, I wouldn't say they just stem from your heart space, but like that's the core center of it. And so this experience here with this mother figure, parental figure, I feel it has a lot to do with like self-worth beliefs, and has even caused you to maybe have a disconnection with feminine energy or with mother archetype. And I feel like that is something that needs to be worked on. And so once you start connecting more with this feminine energy, whether you identify as male or female, then I feel like this will be able to clear out. Maybe this is also about maybe forgiving this mother figure or this parental figure. And remember that forgiveness is not to atone for this other person's bad deeds, but it's to release the pain that you are carrying with you. Because I do feel like it is through relationships where you guys are meant to shine. Like I said, you guys have a lot of wisdom, so maybe one of your gifts is to bestow this wisdom onto others, or to help others through by giving them advice or guidance in their life. And it's because like this wisdom comes to you very intuitively, like you know what to say, you know how to guide people when they are in pain, when they are dealing through tough situations. And whenever you are delivering guidance, you don't overthink it. It simply comes to you. But it's like you can't share this wisdom if you are detaching yourself from the world, if you're not allowing yourself to connect with others. Of course, it's not your responsibility, to do this, to guide others. But I do feel like when you do allow yourself to do so, that's when your psychic abilities shine. Because I do feel like you guys can pick up on the true feelings and emotions of others. You just know what is going on in another person's life. You know when another person is lying. You know when a person is not being authentic. You have a lot of insight. And so for some of you, like, you can use this for counseling. You can use this for therapy. You can use this for giving tarot readings or intuitive readings. And your wisdom, your guidance can help a lot of people. It might even be specifically in terms to like relationships. Doesn't have to be, but it can be. But I feel like in order to do this, we need to heal this mother wound, because this is causing you to kind of feel disconnected from others, or feel like you cannot be this nurturing energy to others, when that is who you are. You guys are nurturers. And I feel like maybe this relationship with this parental figure here has translated into your romantic relationships, even into your platonic relationships, where your partners or your friendships tend to remind you a lot of this parental figure. And it kind of reinforces these beliefs that we are trying to work through that are blocking you, because people keep showing up in the same way. And the reason why this is because we still have not worked through this over here. And so it keeps kind of coming up to the surface in various ways to remind you, hey, there is something that we haven't healed yet that needs to be healed. Also, if you tend to be this overprotective, I feel that that is also one of the reasons why you can't allow yourself to shine. Because if you're being overprotective of your knowledge, of your wisdom, of yourself, you're creating walls around you. There is a difference between creating boundaries and creating walls. And I feel like this energy here is about creating walls. And having this Six of Bows here, which is all about, kind of being in the spotlight, being acknowledged by others. I do feel like Spirit is encouraging you to share your wisdom, share your knowledge, share your talents. Put yourself out there in a way. Like I said, it doesn't have to be in an uncomfortable situation. It can be something that calls to you. Like I said, maybe joining a volunteering group, but allowing yourself to get involved in something that you're truly passionate about will help you guys a lot. Because then we also have the star here, and that is telling me that you guys are meant to shine. You guys are meant to illuminate and to guide others. The stars they guide the travelers in their journeys. You guys are this star for a lot of people who are in their spiritual journey, or just, going through difficult situations. And I feel like it's very important when you guys give advice, don't end it with, I think so, or maybe it's right, or something like that. Don't downplay whatever it is you're delivering, because instead of encouraging your abilities, it's kind of like it's discouraging it. So, be sure of yourself. Even if you're not, just start working on that. I'm noticing we have 2 sixes here. So some of you might have been born in the month of June. If so, this might simply be confirmation, but if you were not born in the month of June, do not worry about it. The number 6 is simply denoting balance, and it is about collaboration and working with others as well. So I definitely feel like you guys are meant to work with others, and for some of you that might be like very difficult and annoying to hear, but it's like, right now it might sound annoying, but once you're in it, once you're doing it, once you find your tribe, it's gonna be so rewarding for you guys. Because you guys are meant to have a family. You are meant to have your tribe. You are meant to connect with others. You are deserving of all of that. And you are meant to shine. I also feel like creating a space that is for you. We already talked about that, but I do feel that is very important. Creating a space that is for you will help you in tune with your psychic abilities. Most importantly, with your intuition, with that claircognizant ability that I'm picking up on a lot. And I keep thinking of writing. I don't know why. I feel like writing is very important for you guys. Maybe you channel when you do write, when you free write. If you want to try that, do automatic writing or simply just free writing, meaning you're not really thinking about what you're going to write. You're just writing whatever comes to mind. Allow yourself to be free with that. And you will get to find out more about yourself, what you're truly feeling about a situation, what you're truly desiring and wanting out of your journey. And you can even set intentions. So if you do have a question, you can write the question out and then start writing, and most of it might sound like nonsense to you, but I assure you, amongst all that nonsense, there will be a message there, and there might even be an answer to your question. And don't be afraid to dream, and don't be afraid to wish. Wish upon a star. Set intentions. Do affirmations. That will be very helpful to you guys. Looking at yourself in the mirror and affirming to yourself that you can trust yourself, that you are wise, that you are talented, that you are beautiful, and you are creative, and you deserve love. Affirmations are about repetition because they are meant to rewire our brains. They are meant to reprogram our belief systems. And this is about reprogramming your belief systems and getting rid of thoughts and beliefs that have been putting you down. And I do feel like wishing. You guys are being encouraged to wish, to dream, to long, to literally go out in the night. Pick a star, name it if you want to, connect with it, talk to it, befriend that star and share with it your deepest desires and your longings and tell it your wishes. And this will also help you kind of connect more with that inner child, which is always good to do, and will help you even possibly heal this mother wound we were talking about here. And I'm getting like ancestors vibe here. I do feel like there is an ancestor or someone, maybe a grandparent, grandmother, who is looking after you. And so you connecting with this star is like talking with that loved one or talking with this ancestor. And they will, and I just felt like pressure in my heart space, they will let you know that they listen to you, that they hear your prayers, and that they are with you. If you ask them for signs, they will give them to you. But open up, believe, have faith is what the star is asking you for. Have hope, believe in yourself, trust yourself. Because there is so many great things waiting for you guys. And all of these great things, you will be creating them. It's you who makes them happen. And I just noticed, 29, 9 plus 2 is 11. 11 is a master number, and it's all about manifestations, wishes coming true. The number 11 denotes someone who is highly spiritual, someone who has lived many lives, reincarnated many times, who has a lot of wisdom. So that is like more confirmation for you guys. Stop downplaying yourself, you guys. You are more than capable. You are more than enough. And whatever you bring to the table is necessary and will be very, very helpful to the world, to others, to yourself, okay? But yeah, that's all the messages I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it brought some guidance, some clarity. Thank you so much to Kino for deciding to do this collaboration. And as always, if you resonated with this reading, please leave a like or comment. Tell me how this reading resonated with you. And if you want to stick around for more readings with me, Kim, then please do subscribe. I do offer personal readings. All the information is on my website, and the link to my website can be found in the description box down below. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next moment, bye-bye. Bienvenidos seekers who chose the Selenite. So just in case you happen to skip the introduction, this pick a card is a collaboration with Kino Tarot, who is another amazing tarot reader here on YouTube. So this is sort of like a 2-parts reading where I would be assisting you with figuring out how to connect to and develop your psychic abilities, and Kino will help you out with finding out what your spiritual gifts and psychic abilities are. So if you happen to stumble upon this video first and you are dying to know what your psychic abilities and spiritual gifts are, then you can definitely check out Kino's video, which I will be linking in the description box down below. And then if you're called to it, you can come back to this pick a card to get some advice and guidance on how to hone these gifts and abilities. Okay? So if you're still here, if you decided to stick around for this reading, then let's get right into it. So as I connected with the energy of this group, I felt a bit of discomfort at the base of my tummy. Can you guys hear the sirens? Sorry about that. But it was sort of like a very unsettling feeling. And the only thing I can think of was that possibly some of you guys connect with your intuition through gut feelings. Like your gut tells you when something is off or isn't right. Now, the other thing I'm picking up on is that your psychic abilities are very, very closely linked to your senses. So touch, taste, smell, hearing, and I know that is a very obvious statement to make, yet I find that a lot of the clairsenses are not very well known or spoken of in the spiritual community, at least not that I have seen, such as clairsalience, which is clear smelling. The ability to channel smells connected to spirits. So for example, all of a sudden you might pick up on a very specific scent, and it is the perfume that a loved one who has just passed used to wear. And so that is you channeling spirit through smell. Then there is clairgustance, which is clear tasting, which is the ability to channel through taste. And some of you might literally taste energy. I know that may sound very weird, but let me explain. Or give you an example. So if the energy of someone or of an environment is a bit off, something is not quite right, you might pick up on that by having a bitter or acidic taste in your mouth. And lastly, there is clairtangency, which is the ability to channel information by simply touching an object. So you might find out who handled that object, the history behind it, etc. And I mention all of these because, firstly, you might have already seen Kino's video, and she might have mentioned one of these abilities, and if so, this might serve as confirmation, which is always reassuring and helpful, but most importantly, it is to emphasize to you how important it is to be mindful in regards to what it is that you consume, food-wise and entertainment-wise. Because what you consume could have a great impact on your psychic abilities, since we are talking about the senses. Yet I don't want to get too ahead of myself because we still have to look at the cards, so I'm going to pull those out right now. Okay, so we will begin with these two cards, and my intention when pulling out this animal oracle card was to find out what is the energy or archetype you embody whenever you are connected to your psychic abilities. So basically, this will give us more insight in regards to what is needed in order to connect with your psychic abilities. And this card over here will let us know what is currently blocking you from connecting with your psychic abilities, okay? So we have the hummingbird, which represents reflection. And then we have the Five of Swords, number 6, the coffin, okay? So the hummingbird is one of the only birds, I believe, who can fly upwards, downwards, forwards, backwards, side to side, and can hover. They are basically a mini helicopter. And so what I'm getting from this card is a very open and scattered energy. Like I mentioned in the intuitive message, you guys pick up on energy through all of your senses. And so oftentimes you might find yourself bombarded with information that is coming from everywhere. And you trying to keep up with all of this might become too much for you guys. In other words, you guys are highly sensitive to energy. And so when you are the most connected with your psychic abilities is when you are feeling the most peaceful. It is when you are in an environment that is not already full or contaminated with sensory overload. The reason why is You guys are so hyper aware of your environment, both physically and energetically, that if you were to be in a space that was full of people and loud noises, vibrant colors, and smells, you would be attacked with so much information coming to you, both physically and energetically. It would be so difficult to discern what is coming to you intuitively versus what you are picking up with your physical senses. So if you are in a room full of people who are all talking with one another, you are not only picking up on their verbal conversations, facial expressions, and body language, you are also picking up on what they're feeling, what they're thinking, possibly what they themselves are physically experiencing. Plus, you might even be picking up on the entire energy of that room and any entities or spirits that might be in that place. So you can see how this can become too much or too confusing, especially if you haven't learned to hone your abilities or know what they are or how they work. So in order to start getting more familiar with them, one of the things we advise you is finding a place where it is not noisy, where it is pretty calm, will be very beneficial to you because it will help you distinguish what it is that you are picking up through your psychic abilities and what is it that you are picking up through your physical senses. And it can help you channel information a lot better because now you can pinpoint where it's coming from and what it is in specific. Because we know that the hummingbirds, they exert a lot of their energy. So much of it. And so for you guys, it might even be the case where by midday, you are already feeling so exhausted. And you might ask yourself, why if I didn't physically exert myself? And it is because even though your physical body might not be moving or working or exerting itself a lot, your energetical body is all the time. Your psychic abilities, especially for those who are barely learning about them, barely working with them, they are always on. It's just like your physical senses. They are always activated. And the reason you're getting tired is because you might be trying to figure out the information that is coming through. Because I do sense that some of you might spend a lot of time up in your head. And it's not necessarily that you're overthinkers. You might be, which, by the way, I'm not throwing any shame. I myself am an overthinker. But it's because you're constantly channeling information from spirit. And so you guys might experience it as thoughts in your head running like 100 miles per second. Or you might get certain sensations and feelings and then you start trying to figure out what this all means and you start overthinking it or ruminating about it. And that in itself is very tiring. Using our mind constantly is very energy consuming. And this is very difficult because when we are trying to make reason of something that is not coming from us, believing that it is from us, we are never going to figure it out. So we're just basically wasting energy trying to make reason of something that possibly we're not supposed to. And the reason I say this is because I feel spirit targets you a lot. Because you guys are perfect channelers. You have like little receptors all over you. And spirit can see that. Like I said, your guys' energy feels very open. And so more than one spirit might try to come in and connect with you at once, trying to deliver some type of message through you. And that is why I was getting a very scattered energy. So the other thing that is very important for you guys is to learn discernment and to learn how to protect your energy. You also must learn that your voice or your intention has great power. So you can let spirit know, hey, I am not open to receiving any messages at this moment, so step back. It is important to know that you can also set boundaries with spirit because spirit can get pretty excited when they see an open channel. And if you do not state your boundaries, they will keep coming in. So it is as easy as affirming it. You could say it out loud. If you're not comfortable with that, you can say it in your mind. whenever you are feeling like too much energy is coming through, or when you're feeling bothered or uncomfortable energetically, or if you're more of visualizers, you can visualize yourself in a protective sphere, or you can visualize a white light or any colored light that you are comfortable in, feel protected by, surrounding you, encompassing you and your energy. And then you can state that while this shield is up, no other entity, spirit, being, energy will be able to come through and connect with you. Also, it is important that whenever you do decide to connect with spirit or energy, be clear on who it is or what type of energy it is that you want to connect to. Because if you simply open up your channel, any type of energy can come through. So intention is very important for you guys. Discernment, learning what is of you and what isn't, is also very important, as well as learning about how to protect your energy. Now, I did mention that what you consume is very important and can affect your psychic abilities. I'm noticing this orange and yellow color over here, and it's reminding me of the sacral chakra and the solar plexus chakra. Those two chakras are kind of in the stomach area. The solar plexus is right in the gut, I believe, and the sacral chakra is below the navel. And so the food that you consume can affect one energetically. If you are eating food that is very heavy, like processed food, that can make you feel heavy energetically. Also, if you tend to be highly empathic and highly sensitive, which I am feeling is the case for this group, eating meats can affect you mood-wise and energy-wise, because I apologize for my vegetarians and vegans, because those are animals and they went through a lot of suffering and pain. So eating that, you are sort of absorbing the pain and what that animal went through. And it is also the same with entertainment. If you are watching, something that is quite upsetting on screen and you are quite empathetic, you can also absorb, the pain or the trauma of whatever it is that you're watching, and then carry that energy with you. And that can mess with your senses. And so being mindful of what it is that you're consuming might be one of the things that you guys will need to work on if you do decide to delve deeper into your psychic abilities or start developing them. Of course, it is always a choice what you decide to consume. There's no shame here. I was just trying to give, an example, because I do find that this is the case with a lot of people who are highly empathetic, and they do have to become aware of the things that they watch, the music that they listen to, the food that they eat. So that might be the case for you guys as of now or later on in your journey. Now, we do have the Five of Swords here, and the Five of Swords talks about conflict, competition, anger, frustration. It's basically chaos. And so, like we already mentioned, if you are living in an environment that is pretty chaotic, that might be one of the things that is blocking you. Because your psychic abilities flourish when you are in a peaceful environment, when it's not being negatively stimulated. You can think yourself as a plant. There has been some experiments where they have played very offensive and loud, aggressive music to some plants and played very soft, melodic, and gentle music to other plants. And the ones who were played the aggressive music, they withered and died pretty quickly. And the ones that were played, soft and melodic music, they continued to thrive. They also made an experiment where they, spoke very harshly and negatively to one plant and spoke very sweetly and lovingly to another. And of course, the one that was spoken very sweetly and lovingly to flourished, and the other one who was spoken negatively to, withered. And so you can think of your psychic abilities as a plant who needs a safe, nurturing, loving environment in order to thrive. Also, the Five of Swords can speak of an internal struggle. And like I said, there might be a lot going up in your head. Most of these thoughts or information that comes through is not of you. And our thoughts are just thoughts. They are not a representation of who we are. And when we become too invested in our thoughts and we become associating ourselves with our thoughts, then things can get pretty messy. That is a rabbit hole you guys do not want to fall into, because it leads nowhere good. And instead of learning more about who you are, you become more disconnected with your true self. And since you guys are pretty psychic, most of the time you are picking up on information that is coming from your outside environment. So if it is the case that you have constant battle with your thoughts, this might be that is blocking you from connecting with your psychic abilities, because there might be some mistrust, there might be some fear, there might be some self-doubt. So this is where I also feel discernment will come in very handy for you guys. And sometimes we can get too caught up in our thoughts that it makes us believe we feel a certain way when we don't. So again, using discernment there will be very helpful for you guys. And because I'm getting such a peaceful energy here with the hummingbird, maybe meditation is something that you guys would want to consider. And please know that meditation is not just about, sitting cross-legged and being silent and not thinking. Meditation is actually about letting your thoughts come through, letting them be, but learning not to get attached to them, letting them pass through your stream of consciousness like a paper boat on a river without judging it and without holding on to it. And it is so liberating when we start doing that, because we see, our thoughts do not control us. And most importantly, they do not define us. And this will also be very important because it will help silence the noise of our thoughts so that we can then start listening more clearly to our intuition and what is coming from our higher self or from our spirit guides. Now, the last thing I'm getting is it's also very important to get in tune with your emotions, because like I said, you guys are very empathetic, or you absorb energy easily, and so sometimes you might absorb the anger, sadness, frustration of others, and once you absorb it, because you might not know better, you might start internalizing it, believing that it is yours. And when we do that, we simply keep the energy in our bodies, energetical body or physical body, and what that causes is blockage. Because then when it is something that is not from us, we can't work through it because it isn't ours. So it's just there, like extra energy, extra muck and gunk. So then what we need to do is, clear it out through cleansing or through by setting intention of releasing anything that isn't of us. And looking at these colors here, I feel like most of what you guys internalize, you keep it in your gut. So some of you might have stomach issues, because when we do hold on to things energetically, sometimes they can't translate into physical ailments or illnesses or aches. So if you do tend to feel discomfort in your stomach area, around your pelvis, or you have ulcers and such, then of course, keep doing what you need to do medically and professionally, yet maybe consider also receiving some type of energy cleansing, or like I said, every day before going to bed or before starting your day, set the intention to clear out any energy that is not of you. Because if we do retain energy in our gut, then that can affect our intuition as well, especially if it's the case where you guys, feel your intuition through gut feelings. And I feel like the ones who, tend to connect with their intuition through their gut are usually people who love food. Like you're a foodie, you enjoy food so much. So if you feel that is you, please also be mindful of what food you are consuming, what food uplifts you, makes you happy. But not only that, notice if what foods after you eat them make you feel very heavy, make you feel very tired, sleepy. That will give you insight and what foods are like high vibrational, I got that word, or are foods that are, low vibrational for you, are good for you and not good for you energetically, even physically. And lastly, get in touch with your feelings and your emotions so that you can find out if you yourself are holding feelings of anger, resentment, frustration, etc. Because I do feel like for you guys, you might tend to be very impatient people. It might be your own thoughts that are running 100 miles per second. You might find yourself jumping tasks from one thing to the other rather quickly. You might find yourself getting bored rather quickly. It might even be the case where you yourself might actively look for things that are stimulating for you. And it's sort of like getting the next fix. You need stimulation all the time. And if that is the case, Spirit recommends to practice patience, especially if you find that doing this, actively searching for more stimulation causes you anxiety. Do practice slowing things down a bit for you. So let's say if you enjoy reading books and you're in the habit of finishing a book in one sitting, try reading it chapter by chapter. Pace yourself is the message that I'm getting, and enjoy whatever it is that you are consuming that is bringing you joy and uplifting you. Take your time with it, savor it, because you moving too quickly might not be allowing you to experience your psychic abilities in its true capacity and potential. And in terms to any feelings of anger, resentment, and such, if you do feel you are holding on to that, it is time to address that and feel into it, not in the way that you indulge it by feeding more into it, but by simply acknowledging it, making amends with it, and then doing things that can lessen it. So if you find yourself feeling quite agitated, do things that bring you peace. This is about you actively deciding to do something that lessens the pain and the aggravation, and allowing yourself to work through whatever it is that you need to work through so that you can release it and so that your channel can become a clear channel. Because when there are energy blockages, sometimes it is very difficult to channel information, channel energy, channel our own intuition. And sometimes it can even cause a lot of physical distress. Now, I know we do have the coffin here. Please do not be afraid of it. I simply feel this coffin denotes rest. Rest for you guys, it's very important. Rest and peace is like your sweet ambrosia or nectar. You guys need rest, especially to recharge and to allow yourself to be more clear-headed as well, and more in tune with your own energy and with your own feelings. Peace, rest, and quiet is crucial for you guys. I also feel like the coffin is letting me know that some of you might be great mediums. I do feel like you have a natural ability to communicate with spirit, especially channel those who have passed on. But I am going to read the back of this card. And we have hummingbird reflection, the tiniest bird of her species. Hummingbird beats her wings up to 200 times per second. With such excessive activity, she tires quickly. To recover, she settles into her favorite perching place and falls into a deep sleep. In her slumber, she sets the example and encourages us to rest and reflect. In profound contemplation and radiant connection, we transcend to discover divinity. Hummingbirds' iridescent feathers are dazzling, inspiring us to take in life's nectar. Okay, so now I'm going to move into the other cards, which will let us know more about how you can develop your psychic abilities. And starting off, we have these two tarot cards. So we have the Shaman, who is the magician of the Rider-Waite's Tarot. And then we have the Mirror, which is the Hanged Man in the Rider-Waite's Tarot. And to clarify, we have Abundance, And we have the Magician once more. And then we have Goodness, which for me is sort of like the Mirror, because this does speak about reflection. So we have 2 repeated cards here. Okay, but where do we start off? So let us start with the Hanged Man, the Mirror card. So the Hanged Man talks about patience. It is choosing an action in order to find clarity. And the Mirror card is about self-reflection and contemplation, which we were getting here with the hummingbird. And looking at this Goodness card, it is reminding me of meditation. I believe I already spoke of it before, but I do recommend for you guys to meditate. And possibly I lost my train of thought then. I don't think I spoke of it too much, but meditation is anything that allows you to be relaxed and in tune with yourself. So you don't have to be cross-legged sitting in silence. Some people find it that running allows them to connect with their inner self, or doing yoga, drawing, painting, dancing, singing, knitting, doing your makeup or your hair, whatever it is that allows you to feel connected with you and gives you some type of peace of mind. That is you meditating. And it is usually when we are in this state that we channel better, because we're not resisting, we're being open. But since we are doing something that we enjoy, we are being open in this elevated state. So we are only being open to energy that is of that elevated state as well. So we're calling in high frequency energy, in other words, such as your higher self or your spirit guides. Also, this is reminding me of finding a place that you are able to be at peace in. We already spoke of that before. I don't want to be very repetitive. So I also see this mirror as letting us know that it is important to get acquainted with your own energy. How does your energy feel like to you? How does your inner voice sound like? When you are feeling your own emotions, how do your emotions feel like to you? So if or whenever you do decide to channel or use your psychic abilities, you can say, oh, this is of me and this is what I'm picking up on. That is very, very, very important, especially if you're going to decide to use your psychic abilities to channel messages for other people. Because I feel like that might be the case for you guys, because we do have the Magician showing up here twice, and the Magician, or as we have the Shaman here, is a practitioner who is dedicated to their practice. And so the other thing I'm seeing here for you guys that will help you develop your psychic abilities is practice. Practice, 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 discipline, and consistency. And practice requires patience, which we were speaking of before. Create routines for yourself. I feel routines are going to be very beneficial for you guys. Also, I feel tools for you guys are going to be so very helpful, because tools help you direct your energy. They are a medium. And so, maybe getting crystals that are in a wand form, sort of like this mini selenite over here. But of course you can get something bigger like the one I have over here, a selenite wand. So wands help direct energy. They helped channel it. And that will be very helpful for you guys, because I was getting a very scattered energy here. And I do feel like focusing your energy on something will help you get more clear about what that energy is trying to tell you, or will help you get more direct and clear information. So it might be helpful to start exploring different divination techniques, look into the different spiritual tools that are often used in practice, because we do have sage here like we have over here. So I know sage is often used to cleanse energy, but I know that sage is actually used in ritual to call in spirit, especially to call in the energy of ancestors. So again, if that is something you want to delve more into, or actively try to communicate with people who have passed, then you can look into rituals or objects used in rituals in order to call this type of energy in. I also see scrying, using crystal balls, like I said, using runes, possibly tarot, also smoke magic. I know there are some practitioners who actually use smoke to see messages or receive messages. So if that is something that calls to you, maybe look more into that. But I do want to warn you guys and remind you that when you start delving into divination, actively trying to connect and communicate with spirit, always protect yourself. I am seeing protection with this bear cloak here. Find ways of protecting yourself, be it through crystals, such as selenite. Selenite actually helps with clearing out energy, but there is obsidian or black tourmaline that actually helps protect your energy and protect yourself from psychic attacks. And always set intention of who it is that you want to connect to. Be direct, be clear in regards to that. You can state that you want to connect with that of the highest good, or if you want to connect with a specific energy, maybe with a specific loved one, then state that. It's very important to have some type of ritual if you are going to start practicing or delving into divination. Protecting your energy is always important, as well as protecting your space. Always remember to also cleanse your energy after you have finished a session or have concluded a ritual. Make sure to clean it. You can clean the space with Palo Santo or incense, or like I said, selenite wand is also good. You can just hover over a space and allow the selenite to pick up on any residual energy. Just keep that in mind. But having the shaman here, this is the first card in the tarot deck, and the number 1 is all about leadership. So for you guys especially, I'm seeing that your practice must come from you. Like, yes, it's very beneficial to learn from others, kind of to get the gist of how things work, but it's very important for you to establish your own practice, to establish your own routine. And so it is important to kind of, connect with self and find out how it is that you connect with spirit. Because possibly the way that you connect is not the way that somebody else does it. And trying to, emulate or copy somebody else is not going to necessarily work for you. Spiritual practice is not a one-size-fits-all. This is about discovering what works for you and creating your own practice out of that, while still holding respect for like ancient tradition, or still holding respect for the field or the practice. But it's okay to delve and to explore and to find out what is your type of magic and how you best channel and what works for you, and maybe discover new ways of divination. It doesn't have to be just tarot and runes and scrying, for example. You can create something new. And use the elements. I feel like using the elements, working with Mother Nature, will inspire you a lot to find your own divination practices. Because with abundance here, I feel like I said, there's many ways you guys can go about this. It's like you guys are surrounded by various tools that you can use to strengthen your psychic abilities. And I also want to let you guys know that you don't have to spend a lot of money in divination tools to start practicing. You don't have to go out of your way to like buy a very expensive selenite wand, or buy a bunch of sage or palo santo or a crystal ball. Like, scrying is done with water. You can fill a bowl of water at your home and try to see if that is a divination technique that works for you. You can create your own runes. I know you can look up runes on the internet and, create them with stones that you find around your house. Write the sigils on the stones, or you can even do it with pieces of paper. A pendulum doesn't have to be a crystal. You can use a necklace. And the hummingbird is all about seeing the beauty and I wouldn't say in the little things, but finding the beauty, you know, where other people overlook, that's where you guys are able to find it. So pay close attention to your surroundings, especially nature. Nature has everything that you need. Learn from Mother Nature is basically what I'm getting with the shaman here. Some of you might even be interested in shamanism, and that is something that you might want to look more into. I do feel like amulets might be very beneficial to you, especially for protection. I feel protection is crucial for you guys. You can also create your own sigils and your own symbols. So you can sit down, set the intention that you want a symbol for protection, and then start doodling and see what comes out. And you can draw those sigils or symbols on your hand with a pen, with a marker, and you can set the intention that this sigil or symbol is for protection, or this sigil or symbol is to enhance your psychic abilities, whatever it is that you want to use it for. Yeah, what I'm getting here is start exploring. Through this exploration, you will get to know more about yourself and more about your many psychic abilities. And also, if you are called to it, start working with ancestors. They have a lot of knowledge to share with you. And I feel like many of your ancestors might have also been spiritual practitioners, gurus, witches, shamans, healers. And so they have a lot of information they can pass down to you. If you ask, right? And again, we have the magician here. So the magician just tells me you have infinite magic, infinite power, and you guys are also a magnificent manifestors. So start practicing more of your manifestation abilities as well by setting intentions. You can even start by manifesting little things. For example, manifesting finding $1 on the floor, or manifesting a text from somebody or a call from somebody. You can visualize this person texting you, visualize you finding $1 on the floor. I also feel like for you guys, it's recommended to use all of your senses. So what will you feel like if you found $1 on the floor? And tap into that energy. How will you feel like when this person finally does text you? Where will you be at? What would you be smelling? Yeah, it's like in your visualization, use all of your senses. Tap into all of that to make it more real and vivid for you. And the more real and vivid it is for you, the more faster and more easier it will be for you to manifest whatever it is that you want to manifest. But I am seeing a lot of wand imagery here. We have the staff here, so definitely having some type of tool will be very helpful to you. So this is about finding what tool works best for you, be it crystals, be it tarot, be it runes, whatever it may be. I also feel like mirror work, I don't know very much about that, but you can look more into it. That might be helpful for some of you, especially if there is some like deep-seated emotions that we need to kind of heal. Doing some mirror work will help with that. Getting to know yourself through your reflection might also help you a lot in building discernment, and also connecting with animals. I feel like animals really relax you, help you become more centered and feel at ease. And maybe some of you even have the ability to telepathically communicate with animals. So that might be something that you would want to explore. And in order to do that, there needs to be some interaction with animals. And I would recommend to start assigning meanings to specific images or symbols. So for example, hummingbirds mean that a loved one is trying to talk to me, or a loved one is sending me a message, or butterfly means that I'm about to go through some type of transformation. Assign your own meaning to certain things. And this will help you feel more involved in terms to your spiritual journey and help you feel more connected with the magic that is happening around you. Because this is about, having a back-to-back conversation with the universe. Okay, but that's all I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Thank you so much to Kino for doing this collaboration. If this reading did resonate with you, then please leave a like or a comment. Let me know how it did resonate. And if you want to stick around for more readings with me, Kim, then please do subscribe. I do offer personal readings. All the information is in my website, and the link to my website can be found in the description box down below. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next moment, bye bye.